In this evening. Rob, you want to start check-in since these guys are still setting up?
Sure. I'm Robert Dodig. I have no time constraints. We have a couple people missing. Dr. Martin, Dr. Duncan, and Dr. Johnston. They will not be here this evening. What's next, Norman? I've only been doing this for a few years. I have no elephants. Expectations, get back on track.
Elizabeth Brinkley, no time constraints. Missing has been noted from our side. No elephants, expectations to make progress.
Good afternoon, I am Amy. For time constraints, I do have a time constraint of about 6 o'clock this evening. No elephants, and my expectations are that we make progress.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Kelby. I'm doing well. I have no time constraints. Missing noted, no elephants, and expectations make progress.
Good afternoon, Carl Burnside. Missing's been noted. No time constraint. I need to leave around 6 o'clock today. Elephants, no elephant. Expectations, make progress.
Good evening, I'm Ben Osman. Doing great. I'm doing great. It's okay. Missing's noted. I have no elephants, no time constraints. If I didn't say that already, and then expectation is to make progress.
Hi, I'm Mike Gatewood. I'm doing great. Missing's noted. No elephants. Expectation. Make progress.
Good afternoon, Mike Robichaud. I'm doing well. Missing has been noted. No elephants in the room, and I'll go with make progress for expectations.
Ann Cole, no time constraints, I am doing well. Missing has been noted, no elephants, and expectations make progress.
Of course, McIntosh, I'm doing well. No time constraints, missing has been noted, no elephants, and expectations to make progress and get back on track.
Thank you. Okay, Kerr?
Hey, good evening. I'm Kerr Fazone, Chief Negotiator for TALC. I'm doing fine. No time constraint. Missing. We have no one missing. No elephants today. And I will go with make progress.
My name is Kevin Daly, President of the TALC. No time constraints. Now that Jill's here, we've delayed long enough, nobody's missing. No elephants. Expectation is to make progress, but I do want to say I was lucky enough to be on the Golden Apple bus last week, or the week before break, and it was really cool to get out there and kind of see the teachers that won the Golden Apple at all the schools. And, they make a great representation of everybody, so it was really cool to get out. First time I had done it. Me and Miss Jordan were on the bus. We almost felt like maybe we weren't invited on purpose, or we hadn't been invited, so maybe we weren't supposed to be invited. But it was a great day. So I was happy to go around that day and see all the teachers that won, and really see the kids. And the lady at Pine Island was really fun. She was dressed as a leprechaun that day, so it's kind of cool. Anyway, it's enough time with Jill settling.
It was always one of my favorite things to get to do.
Hi, I'm Jill Castellano. I am a teacher at Cypress Lake Middle, and I'm also the Vice President of TALC. I'm doing okay. Looks like missing's been noted. I have no elephants. My expectation is to make progress. Hello, I am Anna Witten. I am a 4th grade teacher at Franklin Park Elementary, as well as the TALC secretary. I am doing fine. The missing people have been noted. I have no elephants for today, and my expectation is get back on track.
Good afternoon. My name is Shay Pearson. I am a testing coordinator at Island Hills High School. I am also the TALC treasurer. I am doing well. I have no time constraints. The same has been noted. No elephants, and I'd like to see us make progress.
Good evening, my name is LaShonda Hutchins-Malone, and I'm as well. I'm the grade 3 through 5 math coach at Franklin Park Elementary. I have no time constraints. Missing is noted. I have no elephants, and I also want to make progress.
Good evening, my name is Iris Giraldi. I am a licensed mental health professional, doing well tonight. No time constraints, missing have been noted, no elephants, and I would like to make progress as well.
Good evening, my name is Louis Fisher. I'm the director of bands at Gateway High School. I have no time constraints. I'm doing okay. Missing has been noted, no elephants, expectations to make progress.
I'm Heather Rodriguez-Wibbles. I'm the school counselor at Caucus Middle School. I'm doing well. Missing has been noted, no elephants, and make progress.
Good evening, I'm Christina Starrett. I'm the K-5 art teacher at Tortuga. I'm doing well tonight. Missing is noted, no elephants, expectation is to make progress.
Hello, my name is Amy Johnson. I am a 6th grade ELA teacher at Mariner Middle School. I have no time constraints. I'm doing well. Missing's been noted. I have no elephants, and I'll go with make progress.
Good evening, Mario Dorstyle, math teacher at Southwood Myers High School. I'm doing well, no constraints. And no one is missing, no elephants, and my expectations to make progress.
Thank you. Mark?
My name is Mark Vacuum, assistant principal from the Department of Language Arts. I'm doing well. Just bear with me, not here, so I'll do my best. I have no time constraints, no elephants, and my expectations are to make progress.
Okay, and good afternoon. I'm Donna Munsenard. I'm doing well. I have no time constraints, no elephants, and my expectations are to help you achieve your expectations. So with that, we do have a calendar issue before we start on the agenda that's not on the agenda that Rob would like to address.
Yeah, thank you. So this is one of those times, I'm gonna embarrass Donna, but you realize how valuable Donna is to this process for us. And then when something happens to someone else, or at least in their family, Amy, we have no facilitator other than probably Mark. And Mark has just started for Thursday evening. And Kerr and I had this conversation, and Elizabeth earlier today. We have tried to rack our brains, I don't know about you all, but I'm also concerned about giving a day of bargaining up on Thursday. So we're in this dilemma. I know Friday, we're closed for Good Friday. So I'm sure there wouldn't be a lot of sadness if we didn't bargain on a Thursday night, but we're also losing a night of bargaining. So I don't know if you have any response, any thoughts. I'm all ears. The people that I can think of that we might ask no longer work for the district, frankly. So we don't have a lot of people trained in interest-based facilitation. So any thoughts?
Kerr?
We would hate to give up a night of bargaining as well, but also acknowledging the importance of the facilitators. Two names came across our brainstorm here were Samantha Howard and Barbara Moreland. They're both assistant principals now. I don't know if their calendars would allow them to do that, but they've served in various roles and I think can do the job.
So, Donna, if I could.
Yes, sir.
I think the only thing we can do, and I don't have an objection to either one of those folks, so we can reach out to them tomorrow, unless they're listening, and see. I mean, it is short notice. It's Thursday, so it's not like it's next week or the week after. So we'll reach out to them and see where we're at, and then have offline conversation after that.
Is that it?
So for now, we'll keep the session on the books, I guess.
Okay, Kevin?
So I guess for me personally, a lot depends on tonight, right? Like, I know you guys are supposed to have sessions sometime this week. You obviously don't have it, you don't have to respond. You obviously didn't have it for tonight. You might have it later in the week, but even if you had it Thursday morning and came with the number Thursday night, we probably wouldn't. It would just be, that's the number, you know what I mean? That's the number we're gonna do some crunching to. So I guess, I think we have, not to spoil too much, but we have, I think a lot of language that ties up some open ends tonight. And so I think if we're able to get kind of through those things, I feel better about not bargaining on Thursday again. To be truthfully honest, I have to go to Miami when bargaining is over to pick up my sister from the airport. So I was prepared to go over and come back, but again, I think based on what we're doing tonight and kind of how much progress we make tonight on tying up the loose ends, I'm not real comfortable, but I'm okay knowing what the situation is. I just know that kind of some people on my team, and I'm sure on your team, may have kind of moved small amounts of heaven and earth to put Thursday as an open date on their calendar. So I know one of my members in particular lost an opportunity to earn $120 tutoring because we decided to add the bargaining session, and I know when we added it, we had no way to know that we wouldn't have facilitators. So yeah, again, I think a lot of it for me depends on kind of the fruitfulness of tonight, about my comfort level if we're able to tie up the loose ends we have. Because we still, salary, coverage, some really big things kind of down the road. Not that the things we're talking about tonight aren't important, but they're clearly not the ones that are going to take multiple sessions, hopefully. So that's kind of my kind of idea around it.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, so Donna, if you could, and if everybody agrees, I guess, if with 10 or 15 minutes to go, if you could remind us of this conversation, and then maybe we can revisit where we're at that point.
Okay. Yeah. I will try to remember, but everybody else try to remember too. Sometimes we get a little involved in things and we forget the general stuff. So, okay, that sounds like a good plan. Kevin?
This is kind of off script as well, but maybe we could knock this out tonight as well. I know you had spoken to us about something with the coaches and like the payment of coaches for people, athletic coaches, for people who start after like day one of the season. So if you wanted to, again, we typically don't do MOUs in the middle of bargaining, so if you can share that with us tonight, and maybe we can look at that and thumb that up too, to kind of get that kind of taken apart, taken care of as well. But I think it's a fix we need to make for coaches who might not start on day one, but still deserve more than half.
Rob?
Yeah, so I did receive a draft of that from Elizabeth Friday, so I actually will be looking at it for the first time tonight also, so, but we can definitely talk about it.
Okay. Perfect. All right. With that, we have on the agenda for tonight, approval of minutes, Article 5, general employment practices, Article 7, work schedule. So, minutes, I know everybody received them. Corrections or deletions to the minutes. Amy. Mike, Amy, please.
I got it.
Thank you.
Well, I feel like fall in my face. Thank you.
All right, under Article 5, story, dress codes, it just needs a period at the end after TALC.
Yes, Rob.
So as the person that drafts these, I actually typically don't use periods. So there's happens to be a period under option 1.
Yes, I saw that.
And I'll remove that, so, and under paragraph A.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's either use them or don't use them, but the way these are, sometimes they're not complete sentences, so.
Right, so.
So thank you.
Right,
Yeah.
complete sentences, I would have, yes. Okay, and then options, under 1A. There should just be a possessive apostrophe after schools. After us.
After the, yes, after the word, yeah,
No worries.
it was plural possessive. Yeah. Okay, any other corrections or deletions to the minutes? Kerr?
Sorry, there's an opportunity there.
Okay, go ahead.
I just would like a note made in the minutes after the TALC Caucus report that TALC had an elephant and we ended bargaining. I don't know what the time was. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but I do think for the minutes, there should be a note in there reflecting that.
And talk legal. Okay, anything else? Corrections, deletions, additions to the minutes? All right, can we approve the minutes with the corrections? All right, minutes are done. All right, so on to the agenda. And we left off with dress code. So, shall we begin with dress code?
Yeah.
All right, who would like to begin the discussion tonight? We have story, options, more story. Kerr?
I don't have any additional story, but I do have an additional option to throw up.
Okay.
Donna, I have a printed copy if you want it.
Can I call it option 5, I believe it was, or do we,
Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. Lines 25 through 28.
Okay, thank you. Mark, you can just use this.
This is just from the administrator collective bargaining agreement, or contract, I should say. Lines 25 through 28 are entitled the dress code for the administrator's salary schedule. In order to model appropriate behavior for students, employees are expected to present themselves in a professional manner at all times in terms of dress and appearance. Employee dress and appearance shall not disrupt the educational environment or work site.
Okay. Kevin?
And I also understand and appreciate kind of the idea that we don't want to delineate particular pieces of clothing, because once you go down that line, where do you stop? But I think, and I'm just going to kind of spoil this, but upon adoption, the attitude of TALC is going to be that jeans are not a problem because they are not disruptive, because I don't know any parents that call, and they are professional. And I know that because as long as we give some of you money, it's okay to wear. So, the long-term goal on this is hopefully we ratify this as his language right out of the administrator contract. So I'm not sure what the problem would be. But just know, and I'm not talking about ripped and torn and whatever jeans. Normal adult jeans that look nice are not disruptive and are not unprofessional. And as long as we gave you money, at a lot of places they're okay to wear. So they must be professional enough for that. And honestly, my attitude on this has changed in the past 2 days. Write us up, and you can explain it to an arbiter.
Yeah.
What changed in the past 2 days?
My stance on, the whole idea of not taking jeans, of just having a broad understanding of what dress code is, right? Not wanting to delineate one type of clothing, but again, not into the fact that we should dress professionally and it should not cause a learning disruption. So as far as I'm concerned, if somebody gets written up for dress code, my first question is, how did it disrupt the learning environment of the school? Because again, it is what it is. And I think, I don't know, not an attorney, don't play one on TV, but I do believe that if we went before an arbiter and said, we're writing this person up for wearing jeans because they're unprofessional, our argument would be, well, gee, when they were giving you $20, it wasn't a problem. Why is it a problem now? So we will take our chances.
Rob and then Amy.
First, a couple of things. The first sentence from what Kurt just put up there, are you ignoring that?
No, we're not, but okay, so in order to model appropriate behavior for students, employees are expected to present themselves in a professional manner at all times in terms of dress and appearance.
Okay. And I'm not making a judgment on jeans. I'm just saying.
I have seen a president in a tan suit. I have seen Elon Musk in jeans. I have seen all kinds of people in jeans. Steve Jobs in jeans.
Sorry.
I have seen all kinds of people in jeans that make a heck of a lot more money and have the ability to wear whatever they want to wear. Jeff Bezos wears jeans. A lot of people wear jeans. Again, $20, I can wear them on Fridays. So it must not be disruptive on Fridays.
So is it fair to say the only issue that's been brought to the table, which is dress code in general, is with jeans?
Kevin.
No, it is a school where somebody has a streak of color in their hair and they get written up. But it is the same person down here who may or may not have a full head of hair that is not a natural color that doesn't get written up.
So how does the language that you've proposed help that?
Explain to me how a streak of hair disrupts the learning environment. And this is not to be a back and forth, but I'm just saying.
But so how does the language clarify that?
We have the ability to question. Again, I can be as prescriptive as you'd like. I'm trying not to be prescriptive.
I appreciate your movement on the issue, but just cause still has to be proven for discipline, regardless of whether there's dress code language or not.
This will also stabilize the 90 different dress codes we have across the district.
Amy was next, unless you have.
Thanks. I just wanted to, could you read the option again? I didn't catch all of that, so I'm not sure what it says.
Go ahead, read it and he can put it up in the meantime.
Employees are expected to present themselves in a professional manner at all times in terms of dress and appearance. Employees' dress and appearance shall not disrupt the educational environment or work setting.
So is this is a completely new article, there's nothing deleted or added?
This is from admin salary schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Jill?
I think something that Kevin was also trying to point out was, I know last time I brought up that during my career, at one point I had to follow a student dress code, and in that student dress code, skirts had to be below the knee. And so they made that a requirement for teachers. And it's sometimes difficult to find dress skirts that come below the knee. Usually for me, they're about an inch above my knee. And so I was not allowed to wear those to work. But I would come here for bargaining or for other district meetings, and I would see members from the district team wearing a skirt that was considered prohibited for me to wear. And I used to think to myself, why is that acceptable here and not acceptable in a school? And I think that that's where Kevin is going, is looking at things that as maybe in a school we're not allowed to wear in one school, but they're allowed to wear in another school. So trying to make sure that there's equity across the board. And then again, if it's acceptable for a district administrator to have a skirt that is an inch above their knee, that should also be acceptable for a teacher as well.
All right, anybody else? Any other story or options? All right, I think you have the options from last time in your minutes. We're now up to 5 options. Just leave it there. Kevin?
I'm also struggling with Haddock because we lifted this straight from the administrator. It's amazing. We looked far and wide, and perhaps the language we're going to get is the one out of the administrative schedule right here in Lee County. There was also an interest in prohibiting the use of fundraising around dress code. Because again, as long as I'm giving you $20, you don't care. You only care if I'll give you $20.
Did we have that as an option already, or do we need to add a new option? I know we talked about it, but I don't know if it got into an option. No?
And I'm not even sure how to, other than schools and districts shall be prohibited from, this is talking out loud, so I'll write it down.
Yeah, I'm not writing anything yet.
Schools and districts shall be prohibited from requiring payment from staff in order to, I don't know, wear things. I don't know, yeah. I was out for Golden Apple. The lady at Pine Island was wonderful. She dressed up as a leprechaun. It was really cool. And the kids were really digging it. So again, I think that was an organic thing and a school-wide thing. But again, this idea that we need to kind of back away from this idea that we're going to fund our own Teacher Appreciation Week.
Carl?
There are 2 things. One is that we have board policy which addresses dress code, but more importantly, the issues that seem to be concerning will still be issues with this language. And I don't see how that curtails that. And, you know, because we already know that there are different levels of how it's perceived to be professional. Now, in terms of the money pieces, there are some that don't offer that as an option anyway. It only happens sometimes when the foundation has had fundraising. At some schools, there are some schools that never do it. So it's still, and the other thing I have to add, if there is an issue that someone's rights are being, you know, when you talk about the hair, things of that nature, those things can still be challenged. You don't have to have contract language in order to challenge it.
Okay, Kevin?
This language would trump board policy and would also go into the staff handbooks at all the schools. Again, I think this is the most neutral we're going to get. I'm also for saying commiserate with your job description. Because I think if I'm a pre-K teacher, I'm not sure I'm wearing a skirt at all. And if I'm a PE teacher, I know I'm not wearing pants. You know what I mean? So again, I'm even for commiserate with your job position. As an ESE teacher at Royal Palm, I was told 27 years ago, no ponytails, no ties, no earrings, and shoes that had a rubber sole on them. Because you didn't want to give them anything to grab, slam your head into a wall, or yank out of your ear. Now the ponytail is taking care of itself, but I have, for the most part, adopted that as my standard dress for the entire time I've worked at Royal Palm for 21 years. So there are places where dress code can be very important, that you dress a certain kind of way that may not be seen as professional somewhere else. But again, I think we have some weird convergence around old ideas, old expectations, and new realities. If you look at the things we've talked about in the first sessions, it's just we're asking for the minimal of control to be seated. Can we have some language around mid-year transfers? Can we clean up the dress code so maybe we don't fundraise off of people's backs and maybe come to the acceptance that jeans are okay? You know, just the most minimal of concessions of power, in my opinion. We have not gotten to anything difficult at all yet. I'm almost upset this is taking so long. This was meant to be kind of in and out, kind of, you know, don't be too over-regulatory, but have a sense of what kind of the new idea would be and get it moving. And, you know, we've got a lot of things to wrap up tonight, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Anna?
So just kind of thinking back to the conversations that we've had over the last few sessions around this. Do we have the papers where we recorded the story and the reasons why that, I mean, we're repeating the same things on reasons why this was important to us. And when I look back through all of the minutes, none of that stuff is even recorded in there. The story of this is each school's handbook has been, and I know we just approved these, but each school's employee handbook has been dropped into the Google document. The document has been shared with TALC. But before we came to options, there was a whole dialogue on why we were where we're at, because it's not about jeans. It encompasses a lot more, which if we all went back and watched the YouTube video, we all said all of those points the last session. We do not need to sit here and continue to say them over and over again, because all of us, for the most part, were present. We've had this conversation. So I don't know if we have that written down somewhere. I know it's on the video, but I know part of the story of this, it's not just that we shared each of the school documents. There were reasons on our side why, and maybe we need to do a better job with looking at these minutes and going back to the YouTube video and taking the time to say, okay, all of these points that were important, I feel this needs to be added to the story, and maybe doing a little bit more cohesive job with that. I mean, if that's what has to be done, then that's by all means what I will do. Not volunteering to do it, but I will. So I don't know, I just wanted to point that out, that we had all of these points, they're online, they're not in the minutes, but we've already explained our reasons why we got here. I don't know.
Iris?
And just to piggyback on what Kevin mentioned, and it being commensurate to employees' job role, for example, social workers go out to do home visits. A lot of times, it's not appropriate for them to wear certain attire, especially in dealing with relationships with people in their own environments. So just to keep that point.
Okay, thank you, Iris. Yes, Rob?
So I heard Anna say it's not about jeans, and I hate saying this because Kevin's out of the room, but that's the one thing that he mentioned that he would assume is permitted is jeans under that language. So if it's not about jeans, why is that one thing mentioned?
Fur.
Because that accurately characterizes kind of I think the message that a lot of people got from bargaining last time. It's not about jeans. President Daley wasn't wearing jeans 2 weeks ago, but that was reported. But I think it's one of the things that we don't want any surprises. If we get a thumbs up on one of these things, and you come back and say, well, hey, you never mentioned this. We never talked about X, Y, Z. That gene seems to be the sticking point. But I mean, as you categorize appropriately, I mean, that's not in the language of the option at all.
Right.
So genes, I'm not sure is a sticking point. I think what's been portrayed is that every school is raising funds using genes. And if you look at what we dropped into the Google Doc, less than a quarter of our schools raise funds with genes. Less than a quarter. So but this has been portrayed in some way, not only that people are being forced into paying to wear jeans. No, they're not. It's a choice. It's a fundraiser. Just like if someone walked in here today and said, hey, let's do a 50-50. You don't have to do it. It's a choice. So the portrayal that it's not a choice is just not accurate. And so I'm still unclear. And I know, Anna, you said we talked about it last time, we did. But TALC brought this issue, and I'm still not clear. And I would look to every member of our team and say, please thumb this up, if I understood why you all are doing this.
Christina.
If I'm understanding this correctly, our biggest thing that we're trying to accomplish with this is to give teachers the ability to make their own determination as to what would be professional to be able to wear to get their job done. That way we have a leg to stand on. If there is something that is written up, we have a way to be able to greet this. There's language in the contract. But again, being able to give teachers the ability to choose what is professionally dressed for their particular job.
Rob.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That helps me. And I'm not supposed to poll anyone. That's not part of interest-based.
Right.
But I'm curious as to whether this language does that.
Jill?
I wanted to comment, I think the other purpose here is to just provide clarity and make things equitable. Again, going back to, there are schools where, and I hate to keep using jeans, and so, but I brought up the skirt thing, but some schools you pay to wear jeans, some schools you don't. Some schools, we get jeans as a reward, the same way a student gets like a collar-free shirt day, right? But the goal here is to have, like Tina said, uniformity, so that it's equitable across the district. So that, and again, also with your job, like Kevin said, a PE teacher needs to dress differently than I do as a social studies teacher. And it's to make sure that that is covered and that, it, again, it's equitable, because school to school is not the same.
Rob.
Yeah, so I'm going to request a caucus.
Okay.
But I first want to say that the option is the option, and we're not acquiescing to the fact that jeans could be unprofessional. Not a blanket statement they're unprofessional, but they can be unprofessional, just like someone wearing a shirt that says something inappropriate could be unprofessional. So I just wanted to be clear, and I don't know, I have to talk to my team in the caucus, but acquiescence potentially to an option doesn't mean that we're saying all jeans are okay.
Correct.
Or all shirts are okay, or all shoes are okay, or nothing of the sort.
Just real quick, we're going to caucus too. And I agree with that. But I also think the way people think the only way they can wear jeans is if their reading scores went up, or if they paid $20. So that we need to get away from too. And honestly, all of this, as you often say, we're negotiating here. So, is this what I want? No, it's not what I want. Is it what you want? Probably not. But is it a start in the right direction to provide clarity that doesn't overregulate and still has some room around it? I think yes. Again, is this what I want? I would like to add, as based on position and things like that. But again, I'm not sure we're there. Just like other language we're going to propose tonight is not what I want, but it's also in kind of acknowledgement of your position. So you bargaining, you rarely get everything you want all the time exactly where you want it. But this is an effort to put forward language we think we can work with to solve problems as they come up. And it's a starting point for everybody to have a level playing field in all of their school handbooks around dress code. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, if somebody's wearing something inappropriate, I think they should be called in and told. But I think it should be delineated. And jeans, you're wearing jeans. It's not a delineation of something that's inappropriate to me. You have a shirt on that says something inappropriate. That I can get behind. Or you're wearing a really short skirt. Or, even at Royal Palm, you're wearing high heels. I think we need to have a shoe discussion. So again, I think this is not as detailed as I want. I'll let you out on that right now. But it's a place where we think we can start and we can address problems as they come along. There will always be unintended consequences. But I really believe people think the only way they can wear jeans is as a reward, or if they choose to make a monetary donation to their school. So yeah, we're gonna caucus too.
All right, as you go to caucus, remember the interest we had for this particular article: staff morale, employee retention, compliance questions, manageability, and student achievement. So time for caucus? 15? Okay.
Same.
everybody back. So, Rob, you called the caucus first. Would you like to report out, please?
Sure. So we talked extensively about the options and a dress code. And we would like to propose an option.
Okay.
Which is fairly simple, which is status quo. And let me just explain that we do not believe there's a significant issue regarding the way teachers are dressing. We have not had grievances. We have not had significant complaints. We're not interested, and I don't believe our principals are interested in making dress code an issue. It has not historically been an issue, and we want to meet staff where they are when it comes to the way they dress at work, which we believe is professional. So we're not interested in making an issue where there's not an issue.
Okay, caucus report, TALC.
Thank you. We discussed a number of things. Went back a year or so. After the hurricane, people showed up in whatever they had, and the learning environment wasn't disrupted then. We talked about historic vacancies and how folks aren't flocking to the profession any longer, and some of the reasons why, maybe because of professionalism. Teachers are told all the time, you're a professional. Aren't professionals trusted to make personal decisions about their attire? We talked about student dress code and how it's not lost on at least our team that 12 of the 14 of us work in schools every day. Student dress code isn't enforced. And all we want is some standard language around employee dress. We were asked a lot about purpose. Why are you even bringing this up? Because we're the bargaining agent for instructional staff, and dress code is a mandatory subject to bargaining. That's why we're bringing it up. And we discuss the interest-based process. And we're reminded to not just assume good intent, but we don't take positions. I think that wraps up our caucus report. I don't have another option.
Okay.
We wanted to call the test option 5.
All right, I saw Kevin's hand go up. Kevin?
It's live.
So I have a question on the district's option. So, so does that mean we still have 90 different school-based dress codes if we go with status quo?
Rob?
My response to that is that we have board policy 3216.
The dress codes in the staff handbooks are far more prescriptive than board policy 3.216, whatever, than the board policy around dress code. The board policy is one sentence. So the dress codes we saw from the staff handbooks are far more prescriptive. So again, is it the stance of the district that if we go to status quo, staff handbooks will reflect the board policy, only the board policy related to dress code?
Rob?
The status quo would be the status quo. So I don't have an answer to your question because there would be no language in the contract as you're proposing. There is a board policy.
So absent language, a school can do what it wants.
No, they have to be within the confines of the board policy.
So I'm going to ask you to please restrain your staff handbooks, which I'm assuming you have control over as the district, on the section on staff dress code to only what the board policy is.
That's not what status quo means.
Right, so we would in fact still have 100 different dress codes at 100 different schools, which for me actually reinforces my need to have language. Because without language, and without your desire, and I don't mean you personally, but the district's desire to enforce and make sure schools comply with board policy, the only thing I can have is language.
Show me the problem. Show me the issues. Show us the significant issue that we've just spent 3 hours on. You know that. We've been doing this a long time. If there's an issue, we're willing to address it. I have never, in almost 20 years, heard a grievance on dress code. Never.
Without language in the contract, what do I have to grieve?
The discipline of the employee.
So I don't have to cite any kind of thing. I just say, you know, that discipline stinks.
Not a productive back and forth. I mean, the bottom line is you need just cause to discipline someone. You can challenge that, you know that, you've done it in plenty of cases. I'm not aware of a dress code grievance. There may have been school-based ones that I'm not aware of where things have been challenged or the discipline of a teacher has been challenged because of the way they're dressed or the way they look, or they appear, I should say. But they've never risen to the level of the jobs that I've been in almost 20 years.
All right, yeah, Louis.
Here, sorry. 3. 1 second.
As the bargaining team that represents the teachers, we are bringing that issue to you now. That's what we're doing. We're raising it because it's an issue, because our constituents are saying that it is an issue, which is giving us the authority to discuss it now.
No one's questioning your authority. You have all the rights in the world to discuss terms and conditions of employment, this is one of them. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is we're trying to negotiate contract language for an issue where we do not need contract language. You have all said it. Teachers are professionals. They dress professionally. They're treated by professionals in their buildings. Therefore, they can determine what is professional to wear. I'm not aware of an issue, and I don't think you've demonstrated to us a situation with data that shows that we keep getting 10 grievances at this school. Honestly, in the end, I believe this is about fundraising. It's not about dress code.
Part of the data are the items that are in your handbooks. Why do you need a one-line school board policy and a elementary school that I'm not going to name has 13 bulleted points on what's acceptable dress? Why is it that the school across the street has a different dress code than the school right next door? It's about consistency. That's where we're coming from. And you're right. We've never had an arbitration. We've never had level 2 grievances that rise to this level. I did represent someone that you released because of a dress code issue, but you're able to do that. But no, we've never had something that rose to that level or has risen to that level. No. But that doesn't preclude the, I guess, importance of this. We survey our members. This has been something that has been a hot button topic, I guess I could say, for years. But we went through a hurricane, we went through COVID, and other things rose, to that level.
All right, Anna?
So a second ago, when it was asked, what with status quo, we still have 97 dress code. No, we have the board policy. When I look up the board policy, it states, the board, subject to any collective bargaining agreement, authorizes the development of standards for staff dress and grooming that promote a professional education atmosphere that gives consideration to the impact of the educational process and the diversity of the district staff. And I do believe we are working, the whole point and intent of this is adding language in the collective bargaining agreement that's in the board policy, that we don't have it in the collective bargaining agreement, just to make it fair and to make it equitable is where we're at. And at this point in time, there's nothing in the collective bargaining agreement.
Christina,
I just want to put a reminder out that at the end of our.
hold on.
I just want to put a reminder out that at the end of our reporting out of our caucus, that we ask to test option 5, please.
Well, that was, we were going to test option 5, but we
I
kind of
can
went.
that with a question.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
okay. Anything else? We have Iris.
Could you review the interest, please?
Yes.
Because I think we're kind of,
The interest for staff morale, and this was for several different things in Article 5, so it may not necessarily apply to dress code, what I'm going to say. Staff morale, employee retention, compliance questions, manageability, and student achievement were our interest.
thank you.
You're welcome. We have 6 options up here. Do we need to read the options, or? I know we did these 2 weeks ago, so some for the first 4 anyway.
I think we just called it test number 5, so if you want to reread that, that probably is
Okay.
most germane, isn't it?
Number 5 says, in order to model appropriate behavior for students, employees are expected to present themselves in a professional manner at all times, in terms of dress and appearance. Employees' dress and appearance shall not disrupt the educational environment or work site.
And again, this language is from the administrative.
Yes.
So we have a request to test 5. Anybody need anything repeated? We've talked about the interest. If you can support number 5, may I see thumbs, please? Okay, I see several thumbs down, which means you have to explain why your thumb is down. I saw several sideways and several going up, so you want to start off, Rob?
Yes, sure. So putting language in a collective bargaining agreement is a significant step. It's not something because we hear it on a survey or we get a couple of emails, my words, not yours, that turns it into an issue. Frankly, we've now made this an issue. We, together, collectively, have made this an issue. And there's board policy. I'm sitting here trying to draft something maybe that encompasses the language of the board policy. But frankly, simply putting language in a contract because it's something we would like is not something that I can support at this point. If it's demonstrated to me that it's necessary for clarity for all employees, including administrators and us, because there's an issue, I'm on board. But I haven't heard that. I heard one explanation today, which I appreciate, which was helpful, but not there.
All right, I want to just pass the mic down, and if your thumb was down, please give us your rationale.
Sure. From the information I heard about the issue itself, I'm not sure that the language, or I don't believe that the language really addresses the issue. Because if the issue is the subjectivity of 100 different locations doing potentially 100 different things, that this language doesn't change that. There still is that. So if the issue is about, well, the staff handbooks, which I'm not aware of necessarily what's in all of the staff handbooks that you all have reviewed, but if the issue is there is some different things in there that potentially need to be addressed or people feel like need to be addressed, then maybe that should be at the location level, employees addressing that with the leader at that level. Or maybe some overall district work needs to be done related to some uniformity or some type of standards for the staff handbooks, but the language itself doesn't do it. There still is, and really always will be, some subjectivity in determining for an individual what the line is between something is professional and something is not.
Okay, thank you.
Both Amy and Rob kind of expressed most of my sentiments. I do respect and appreciate the effort since the last meeting of TALC to present something that was in an attempt to do something that was sort of more moderate. But my biggest concern is I just don't see this solving what I think is what, the consistency or the inconsistency issue. I don't think this solves it. If anything, it may open up more of Pandora's box.
Yes,
That's good, because I can't even see it. So I agree with what Amy said. I think that the subjectivity will always be, no matter what we put in there, I'm gonna think something different than what Carl or Ben would think. So I don't think it's gonna resolve that. And I'm just concerned about the fact that the culture at schools are different, and what is gonna work at one school may not work at another school. And I appreciate wanting to have some kind of consistency, but I think we need to deal with the people in like a principal meeting or whatever to say, look, if we're gonna do this, then we need to have some kind of agreement on what you're gonna put in your staff handbook and limit it that way instead of putting it in the contract.
all right, I heard two people say something about doing something at the district level. He didn't have his thumb down. So do I have any responses from anybody about what was just said? He's coming around with the mic.
Just a quick question about the administrator's dress code. So does every administrator report to the same person? Okay, but you guys have the same dress code for every single person. You don't have, like 5 administrators have this dress code and 5 have this dress code. It's just one dress code, correct?
Right.
I just want to point out, salary schedule, that's what that is.
Right.
It's not collectively bargained. It's not governed by Chapter 447. It is a salary schedule.
However, TALC has the ability to bargain our dress code.
I've acknowledged that, but I think we're talking about different animals. Like, that's not a collective bargaining agreement. Administrators didn't sit across from other folks and say, let's make a deal.
We can talk about that, Caucus. I got you.
Who's next? Jay?
Guys, when you don't have a contract, they don't negotiate. There's a policy.
So I guess my question is on their salary schedule, why was it important for the district to have this in the administrator salary schedule?
I don't have the answer for that, frankly. I didn't draft the language.
Anybody have the history on that? Rob?
It just said it was in 2021 is when it was put in there.
Okay,
That's when I came back to the district. So
right.
in September.
So is it that hard to believe though, that if somebody thought it was important enough to put in the administrator schedule, that it's just as important for to have in the teacher's contract? I mean, and we're asking for the exact same language, we're not asking for something outlandish. We're not, I mean, I think this is a huge compromise from where we started 2 weeks ago.
Nobody's suggesting anything you've suggested is outlandish. It's just recognizing the need for it.
But you guys felt a need for the administrators, but you don't feel a need for the teachers.
I don't know who you're saying will. I think Mr. Rothenberg felt the need for it. I don't know how that was vetted. I wasn't here.
So
That's it.
I'm gonna say something and I think we're gonna call for a call.
All right.
And yes, this is an effort to get away from 100 different dress codes. I asked if status quo meant the district would ensure that staff handbooks represented board policy. The answer was essentially no. There was no commitment to do that. So the only way I have to ensure consistency is negotiate contract language which trumps board policy and school handbooks. So again, if the commitment from the district is every staff handbook will reflect the board policy, that's great. Make that the option. But status quo means status quo, which is what we've got now, which is not working, the wild, wild west is inconsistent. Teachers can teach here and have some rules, teach over here, have another rule the next year. Itinerants can possibly have to modify their dress based on where they go. So again, asking for that. Asked, would the district make a commitment? The answer was no. So short of the district making that commitment, the only thing I have left is language that I can enforce. That's it.
Rob?
I think the district can make a commitment to follow the policy, which talks about the authorization of the development of standards for staff dress and grooming. I think we can make a commitment to do that with you all. I'm not sure sitting here at the bargaining table is the place to do that. The policy authorizes the development of standards for staff dress and grooming. And if the desire is to have those things be consistent in all of the staff handbooks, I think we can work towards that. I absolutely do. But I don't think, I voted down because I don't think I can agree to a blanket language tonight that gets put in a contract when there's, from what appears to be, with the data, no big issue. But I think we can follow the policy and develop standards for staff dress and grooming that promote a professional educational atmosphere. And then the rest of the policy.
Okay. Jill and then Anna.
So I think that the problem with not having access to data or issues is there's nothing for us to currently read. I will also say, and I'm gonna speak for mainly myself, but I believe that the majority of my colleagues will follow rules when set by their administrator. If their administrator says skirts have to be below the knee, that's what they will do. If the administrator says no jeans, that's what they do. So when we say there's no data, that there's issues, it's because our staff is being, for the most part, compliant. But compliance doesn't mean that that makes the policy okay. Compliance doesn't mean that, again, when I come to a bargaining meeting and I see members of the district team wearing things that I would have been disciplined or sent home for, is upsetting as a teacher. So our compliance is the reason why there's not data, but it doesn't mean there's not a problem.
Anna. And then Kevin called for a caucus, so.
So I wanna, to piggyback a little bit off of Jill and looking at some of our norms for this, you know, we have be present and engaged, respect time at the table. I mentioned a little bit earlier about conversations that were had at the last session not being documented in our story. And then I hear the issues with people who put their thumbs down and what the problem is. And it was pretty consistent of not a significant amount of information. I haven't heard anything that could allow me to agree with this. Pretty much all four had the same thing. And then it was just mentioned to go, you know, I just heard tonight, thank you for sharing with me what it is. And I know last session, Jill shared an instance of a situation, she shared it again tonight. I shared an instance of a representation that I had to do with someone. Shay shared an instance of a situation that happened to her personally. And I could tell you the stories that I have had to represent members of a staff over dress code. So we shared all that information last session, and it appears that it fell on deaf ears because here we are defending our reason and how we got to this point again and again, and it just, to be perfectly honest with you, does not make me feel that our time at the table is being respected, that we have members of either side being present and engaged, or are we assuming good intentions? And that's, you know, maybe I'm not, I don't know, but that's why we all shared that. So please don't say we haven't shared where we got here, because we have, and we shared it again tonight. And I don't know if we have an interest of continuously trying to back up and support how we got to this point, because I guarantee you it was not just from a few emails. I guarantee you it was not just through a random survey result. We are here because our members led us to be here.
15 minutes, please.
Okay. Okay, we have everybody back, so tell them you called the caucus. Would you like to give your caucus report first?
Sure. I just need 1 minute, please.
Okay.
I think I had. All right, thank you. So we obviously discussed the options, and our reasoning, again, behind why we are discussing what we're discussing. It's not lost on us that the #1 indicator of student success is a qualified educator in the classroom. Notice I did say wearing shirt and tie, blouses, things of that nature. It's a qualified educator in the classroom. And again, with the school handbooks being the Wild West, we just want some consistency. I have a few I'm going to throw out at you. Wet hair is inappropriate for an educational environment at one school. No Birkenstocks at another. No sneakers, but you can wear professional sandals. Oh, here's one. Finger and toenails need to be cleaned and groomed. Dress capris may be worn, but they can't have cargo pockets. One school, you gotta comply with the student dress code on piercing and tattoos. At another, ladies should wear slacks, skirts, or dresses and blouses. Men can get away with a collared shirt. At another, oversized shirts are inappropriate. And tight pants are inappropriate. This is the reasoning. It's ridiculous how disparate, I guess, all of these dress codes are. And I think that's the caucus report. Might have one more thing to add to the story.
All right. Is this part of the report?
Yeah,
Because the district has to give a report too.
This is part of the report. I forgot about this.
So this is something I shared in caucus, so I need her to stand up for a second.
You didn't tell me how to stand up.
So, I was involved in a meeting with a teacher. At one point, she worked in a school where they had said that the teachers could not wear leggings. This teacher walked into the lunchroom during her lunch period, and an administrator looked at the way she was dressed and went over to her and grabbed her pants and rubbed her leg. And when the teacher said, "What are you doing?" the administrator said, "I'm checking your pants to see if they're leggings."
Rob.
So we did not have any demonstrations, but we did talk about the dress code.
Oh, darn.
And did have another option.
Okay, another option. Number 7.
So our option will, the district will work with school administration to direct consistency and alignment of language for the school handbooks regarding staff dress code. We will update TALC on a regular basis at our monthly, or however often they occur, labor management meetings.
Okay. That's it? Oh, Rob, can you repeat it again?
It's gonna come out differently because I didn't write it down.
Our district will work with school administration for
We will work
alignment.
with schools for consistency and alignment of language regarding the dress codes that appear in the employee handbooks. We will update TALC regularly in labor management meetings.
Okay, give Mark a chance to.
And this would be for the 24-25 school year.
Okay. In labor management meetings. For the 24-25 school year, right?
Yes. And just just to sort of embellish that point, I want it to be known that we do concur that the handbooks have a lot of different things in them. So, I guess Kerr's referred to it as the Wild West. So yes, they do have inconsistencies and lack of consistency in them. So we want to address that, which we think that is an issue.
Okay. All right. Kerr?
I'm still writing this down, but listening to this and reading this, we've kind of been taken out of the, if we go with this option, our seat at the table has been taken away. I mean, this is as we talked about, why it's important to us, one of the reasons, it's a mandatory subject of bargaining. And so if I read this right, the district will get all the administration together, get them to align things, and we're updated, as we go along, but where's the bargaining, like this is the place for this, right? Right, we negotiate these things at this table. This I seem like I'm giving TALC's rights away to administration to let them decide to do what they want to, as long as it complies with the 3216 or whatever the board policy was. Oh, yeah, 3216.
Rob?
That's our option.
Okay, right.
We're here to bargain.
Okay. And options can always be combined. I don't think we got any movement on option 5 from the people who had their thumbs down.
Donna, can you please read the option in its entirety just one more time?
Sure. The district will work with school administration for alignment and consistency with dress codes that apply in school handbooks and will update TALC and labor management meetings for the 24-25 school year. Kevin?
I guess for me, and Jill just reminded me, that part of when I have my thumb down, I have to tell you, not only do I tell you what my objections are,
right,
but I believe I have to tell you also what would move me to neutral.
Yes.
And that was not a question that was asked.
No, because you called the cop.
Because I called the cop. So I think we should at least hear that too from the people who were with their thumbs down.
Okay.
What, if anything, there is that moves it to neutral.
Okay, and we have one of those people missing now.
Okay.
So, Rob?
Addressing the issue, which appears to be the handbooks.
Would get your thumb to sideways? Okay, Carl? I think you were next.
For me, to be quite honest, when I heard the words earlier, that in my view, once we do this, this means that. So then that made me feel like we're going down a rabbit hole that I'm very uncomfortable going down when I talked about Pandora's box. And so when I heard that, that made me feel like we're opening Pandora's box. Because we still then would have individual perceptions it was stated that we're trying to avoid that. So when I heard that, and I haven't heard anything that makes me still feel that wouldn't be the case.
So you'd have to hear that would not be the case, that would not.
That would be one of the, I mean, along with
right.
That was another piece. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
I'm also trying to add the other pieces.
Okay, Anne?
I would have to say that that's part of it for me as well. But the other part is what I heard over and over again is it's about the consistency for the handbooks, okay? So to me, there's still gonna be subjectivity no matter what we do. So if we abide by the district policy, right, and we say that the principals are gonna work together to see how ridiculous this is, like how far everybody is so different, right? I don't look at other people's handbooks. I really don't. I don't see them, right? And so I didn't know all of that. So truthfully, if we work together and say, we need to do something about this, then it will be addressed. And that's what I heard was the issue, is the consistency of the handbooks. So to me, until I hear that that's gonna do something to address that,
Okay,
Of course, yeah, I was
you were sideways, weren't you?
No, I was
Oh.
a thumbs down. I was a thumbs down. My rationale, just so you know, was the same Amy as well as Rob stated. Didn't think that the language was effective in what was trying to be accomplished. And if I would unnecessarily put it in, what would get me thumbs up or sideways or change is, to me, it seems what the issue was and what was just stated was consistency in the handbook. So something addressed in the handbooks would be more in line with changing my goal.
Okay, thank you. Anna?
I just wanted to kind of comment a little bit about what Carl said in regards to he had heard people say earlier, in my view, I view this as this, in several of the staff handbooks, and that's where the issue is the staff handbooks, because the staff handbooks in themselves are a rabbit hole. And I only read through a couple little pieces from a couple of the schools, and they were all over the place. And in many of them, the very first line of the dress code, it says it is the view of this administration. And so when we talk about the subjectivity, like Dr. Cole has mentioned, yeah, dress code is going to be subjective. What one person views as professional, another that is subjective. You know, a person could come in what they believe is the very best clothes that they have, and someone else may believe or feel it's not. But that's where this is. The staff handbooks in our district, looking at option 6, the status quo, they are a rabbit hole. They are all over the place. And that's what needs to somehow be fixed. I feel like we are getting pretty close to, I think we can come up with an option that would solve all of this. I'm just not sure exactly the road to get there.
Okay, Jill?
And I think the other struggle is, as you quickly look through these handbooks, the question is, who determines what is oversized? Who determines if the pants are too tight? Who determines if something is a t-shirt, if something is a blouse? Who determines that? And I think the simple answer is the school-based administrator. The professional in the classroom who's with the kids doesn't get to determine what is appropriate for them to wear, comfortable for them to wear, given their job description, given perhaps other issues that they may, other health issues they may have. I brought up, for example, where it says no oversized shirts. Well, what if a female teacher is now pregnant and they're wearing oversized clothes to maybe hide their pregnancy or to cover up? What if a teacher loses a lot of weight and struggles financially to buy new clothes because they have to decide between clothes that meet the dress code and paying their rent? So it's the administrators in the school that determine these things. So as a teacher, you're handed a dress code, you're told to read it, and then you just have to kind of blindly figure out if you're in compliance or not, if you're following the rules or not. And if you're not, you get called in and you get told to be sent home or told not to wear it again. And so the power in this lies with the school-based administrator who gets to determine if what I have on aligns with the dress code that they've created.
Okay. Yes, Rob?
Yeah, so sometimes we have resorted to the dreaded joint committees to attempt to resolve issues. And I understood TALC's concern with the option I put up there. Having really after the fact involvement. So I would put an option up there.
Okay.
Not necessarily endorsing it at this point, but
Okay. Option. Hold on a sec. Yes, option 8. Okay,
Labor management would form a joint committee to address the issues regarding the staff handbooks and the dress code. Specifics of which, the amount of people, and how often we meet, to be delineated or to be decided in labor management.
okay.
Labor management will form a committee.
Are you listening, Mark? Come on now.
Yeah, I didn't see you okay last night, but that's okay. So,
Labor management, it doesn't have to be that specific. Labor management will form a committee to study the dress code, not study, to come up with,
To address the issues
thank you,
around the staff handbook and dress code.
thank you. Send me your minutes tomorrow.
Be $10.
To draft issues or address issues? To address issues. Address issues.
in the staff handbook.
Take lunch from the food truck
In the
tomorrow.
staff handbook.
Staff handbooks relating to dress code. Okay, Anna, is that okay?
Labor management will form a joint committee to address issues in the staff handbook related to dress code.
Yeah, and then he had something about number and time and date to be,
Details to be determined in labor management.
details to be determined.
The amount of people, how often.
Yeah, that would be just, do you need to add that, or we could just do 7 and 8 together as a star design?
No, it's a part of A, details to be determined.
TBD. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Kevin?
So, who doesn't want another committee to meet? Let's just be honest. Aside from that, we really are complicating the issue. And honestly, the committee process with this district for the past 2 years has been a joke. The only committees that have met on a consistent basis are labor management and insurance task force. The rest of them have been hit or miss at best. We made a commitment here last year to solve the turnaround school problem. Guess what we didn't solve? The turnaround school problem. Because that committee never met, and when it did, we needed an answer because jobs were posting that Saturday. So we went status quo. Because we met on a Thursday. We are complicating things here, in my opinion. The easiest thing to do is to do option 5 and just modify all the staff handbooks. Because what's the account, we're gonna get to here, we're gonna lay them, and then again, I don't know what the district provides you all. But when we were provided the staff handbooks, we put them in a drive, and every member of my team accessed them. They're not, knowledgeable about this on the fly. So if you were not provided the staff handbooks, I feel bad for you. Right? We come here with an expectation to be, ready to go. So again, if that wasn't shared, I feel bad. Because it should have been, because we shared, we knew, that's why we were able to, they were able to do what they did. So I'm not sure what a joint committee is going to do other than push this discussion into another meeting. We're complicated, I think. The staff handbooks are all over the place. The easiest solution is to get the principals in a room and say, what is wrong with you? Here is the board policy. This is what your dress code should be. But again, I say this all the time with all the love and respect in my heart. This district will not hold an administrator accountable. Will not. When asked if status quo meant it was still the Wild West, the answer was yes. When asked if there would be a commitment to ensure that 3.225 whatever was the law of the land, there was no commitment. A joint committee takes this process, gives it to fewer people, gives everybody else a meeting to go to. I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty busy, and I'm assuming you guys are too. And the principals or whoever we tap on this committee that aren't on this group are just as busy. I mean, I don't know what another joint committee that won't meet and will have the same discussions. I'm not serving on it. It'll be Jill. Because she's doing turnaround, she's doing this. She doesn't know, but she just got volunteered. Right? So again, because I'm on a lot, I just don't see what a joint committee solves other than putting this discussion in fewer people's hands and not necessarily in as much sunshine as we have now. And again, we made a commitment to handle turnaround schools the Thursday before jobs were posted. We don't have an answer. Had a whole year to do it. Now, we had a hurricane, yeah.
Are you part of that committee?
I am.
So you're part of the problem?
I may very well be.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So if you want me to start assuming responsibility for scheduling meetings and calling people to account for not scheduling meetings,
absolutely schedule them. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Okay. Not a problem.
Okay.
So I don't know why the ire over an option that was put up there. What was that? That's not interest-based. I mean, bringing up other things. I mean, very little. Goodness, there was an attempt to try to reconcile the issue that we've been talking about for 3 hours.
4.5.
And all it did was cause you to bring up things that are not relevant. I mean, come on. How are we? Boy, oh boy.
Very little of this, and honestly, the past 2 years, has been purely interest-based. Very little. And I've been president now for 5 years. So I would almost guarantee it's been 5
years then.
Okay, so, okay, not a problem.
I mean, come on, Kevin. It was an option. That was not necessary. I even
All right.
for discussion. I said that.
So, 8 options, 644. I don't think we've moved anybody who had their thumbs down for option 5 to sideways. So
I ask this, is there, other than the language that we thumbed down,
right, option 5.
is there a halfway to getting somewhere where we involve TALC in something involving the handbooks?
All right, okay. I see your hands down now, Jill. So, we said with 15 minutes left, we were going to talk about Thursday night. Do you need to continue meeting Thursday night?
I mean, if we can make a couple calls to see if someone can facilitate, yes.
I think they already have one answer, right?
Yes.
Yes, Sam cannot.
Sam
We have been
cannot.
unable to find a facilitator, you know. I haven't asked Barbara, but
But has Barb normally been involved in this stuff?
no, not on a facilitator, no.
She's had training, I believe, but hasn't done it.
Yeah. And I will be there, but I'm new to this process, so I don't know if I feel comfortable being a facilitator.
Well, I'm just using Kevin's litmus test, which is depending on how much we got done, which we didn't get in.
Right.
I mean, we
That's
got
why-
things done, but we didn't get any service.
That doesn't mean you still can't not meet Thursday night. I mean, we said this is when we were gonna talk about it, depending how much we got done, and you're right, we didn't get anything done. So,
How would we function without, how would we function without a facilitator?
You see how we function with one, so I agree with you. I wouldn't dare try to do that without a facilitator, no.
I mean, honestly, we have language on 7 or 8 different things tonight. That's wrap up other issues.
No, I don't disagree with you. I mean, maybe we should have said at 6 o'clock, let's go on to another issue. I mean, but here we are.
so you're saying table 5 and do some of the other issues until 7 o'clock?
I mean, I thought, that's the only thing here, it's just to have her rapid fire read some options we have to wrap up some other issues. But again, there would probably be no agreement, but at least they would be in the public realm.
Okay, we can do that, if nobody objects to that.
Now he's scrambling to find.
No, we do need to know where we're at with this issue. What are we doing? Are we tabling it? Are we? How?
I think we table for now.
Okay.
All right, let's get rid of this paper, and then we can. Shouldn't be. Do you have them, Kurt?
Yes.
Okay,
I didn't print them, that's the problem.
that's all right.
What issue?
Tell us the issue.
So I guess we're moving to Article 7.
We still have things under 5, I think, no? Mid-year transfers?
We do.
Article 5.
You're not ready.
But honestly,
Yeah.
again, it's half thought out, so it would be
Okay.
essentially.
What about virtual?
Blah, blah.
And the other thing we have on Article 5 is extended contracts for
thank you.
annual contract teachers, which I think is a moot point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think all that we have left is in Article 7, and it all relates to meetings and outside events, things of that nature. I can briefly do stories since this is a little out of the ordinary. No, I just want to give you an idea of where we're coming from. I'm looking at mandatory meetings, just wanting to enshrine some of the past practice that we've had for a number of years around this. So one of our options for meetings, just whenever you're ready.
No, you don't, you're not doing this, you're just doing an option. That's okay.
I left it in.
Okay, just.
I'm looking at the mandatory meetings. If you're in the CBAs on page 33, it's the one that says, limited to 2 per month, faculty meetings, things like that. Yeah. If you're in the PDF, it's page 38, it's 33 of the hard copy. Okay, so I guess this would be option 1. So, and admittedly, some of this would have to be wordsmithed with the existing language. But we have faculty meetings should be limited to 2 per month, scheduled in advance. There's a however there. In advance. However, the instructional leadership team may call additional meetings. And Rob, I can email all this to you as well. One more sentence to that one, please. Faculty meetings or in-service trainings. May not be more than 45 minutes in duration. Okay, that's option one. Option two relates to a virtual option.
Gotta have room on this paper to write it? Okay.
Just one sentence.
One sentence, got it.
Instructional staff will be provided a virtual option. A virtual option for any mandatory professional development. Yes. Or meetings. Yeah, PD or meetings. In order to optimize participation and effectiveness. It was a long one sentence.
Yeah. But he's gonna fit it on the page, so that's what counts. Are there more?
Yes. Option three. This relates to notice for meetings. Oh, sorry. Notice for mandatory meetings shall be given. Shall be given at the beginning of each semester. On the calendar developed by the school calendar committee. This one has two more sentences. Teachers are not required to attend meetings and similar functions not expressly stated on the school calendar. Expressly stated on the school calendar. last line to that one is an emergency meeting may be called at the discretion of the principal. Probably say administrator.
Another one?
Option 4, yes, this one's short. You won't be able to fit on that page.
That's over there.
This one relates to PLCs. The PLC meeting shall last no more than 30 minutes per week, except except where, except where explicitly waived using the waiver of contract language. In Article 13.05. Donna, if it would help. I'll give you this one and I'll just read from my phone. I just emailed it to the district team. So the last option, I guess this is option 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one will be option 5. I'll email it to all of you. This relates to the number of outside events. The attempt at this language is really to enshrine our past practice of 2 events per semester. So this one says, where am I? Teachers shall attend school-related events, including but not limited to curriculum nights, open houses, and similar activities, no more than twice per semester, except where explicitly waived using the waiver of contract language in Article 13.05. Teachers are not required to attend outside events not expressly stated on the school calendar developed by the school calendar committee given at the beginning of each semester.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Okay. 6:59, you made it.
I commend your writing on the fly. That's not an easy.
I'm sorry, my handwriting.
And my spelling is terrible.
Well, for the minutes, I have them in writing. Kurt sent them to us.
And I'm happy to provide more story. You kind of had the
right
where we're coming from.
Right.
Oh, I turned it. I'm sorry.
I received some emails about the 2-factor authentication that the district is moving to next year.
Yeah.
I know when 2-factor authentication was first rolled out, the district was offering staff an authenticator if they didn't want to use their phones. Just want to make sure we're still doing that, because I've kind of hinted at people that we are. I mean, you may not have the answer. This is an IT question.
Yeah, no, I know that Kevin, because sometimes he knows things like that.
I know that when we first rolled it out,
I'm not certain.
They were giving authenticators, because
I know that too.
we may have to have a discussion about the requirement that I use my cell phone to access my email and stuff through 2-factor authentication. Even at work. So I understand the consequences of cyber ransom and stuff like that, but I know in the past there's been a separate authenticator offered, and as a World of Warcraft player, I know what that looks like. I didn't get one, but I know what they are, and I just wanted to figure out if we were still kind of doing that, and the demand for that may go up because people in buildings will tell you some people don't have cell services. In fact, at Royal Palm, we used to have to sneak to the back window to try to get on the Lee County Library Wi-Fi. because we were in a bunker and the Wi-Fi in the school wasn't great. So this may have an unintended consequence of people not having service and not being able to authenticate. That's
Okay.
not marketing or anything, that was just something I
You
wanted
just
to
want
bring
the
up.
information
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's happening. Okay. Kerr?
Quick correction to option 4, it's up above. It should say no more than 30 minutes. I can't tell from here, but I don't promise.
Got it. All right. Anything else? Rob?
So is Thursday night canceled? Is that what we've decided?
We have decided we need more facilitators than we currently have to control ourselves. And so I think the idea of having no facilitators may lead to more police officers.
Okay.
So you have these 5 options that you can be looking at to be
For 2 weeks,
prepared for the
and 2
next
weeks,
time.
yeah.
For 2 weeks, right? Our next meeting is scheduled April 2nd?
Yep.
No,
That's next week.
8th.
Wow, okay.
Hopefully Amy will be back because I can't come to that.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks, Donna.
You're welcome. All right, good night, everyone.